When you hear the sound of the bell, you know you're in the championship rounds with of Essex. So let's get to it. We got to recap potentially another candidate for fight of the year, although I'm sure there'll be some recency bias. This fight happening early in the year. I'm talking about Mikaela Mayer defending and retaining her WBO title against Sandy Ryan. Just seems to be one of those bouts to where Ryan gave her best, came stateside, and Mikaela Mayer has to be acknowledged for her legendary status. The hand speed surprised me, the power surprised me, and Mayer's tenacity has always been there. So kudos to the champ. But let's talk about where do we go from here? So, Mikaela Mayer, where do we go from here? Does she go right into the unification bout with Lauren Price? Everyone calling for that one. Does she pull an end around and somehow end up in a bout at 154 against Claressa Shields? And the Claressa Shields option always seems exciting, but from what I understand, it's not always as lucrative for the other opponent. So yeah, you got to reconsider that. Of course, there's a title defense that Mayer could make against Stephanie Aquino Pineiro or Pineiro Aquino, undefeated Puerto Rican prospect, matchroom fighter. So yeah, there's some options there for Mayer, but certainly, as I've mentioned before, let's not rush the championship, the champion into a fight right away. But certainly have to see what's happening. Obviously, the unification bout is where it's at. Does it have to be right now, though? I don't know. I'll let you guys tell me. Now, where does Sandy Ryan go? This opponent I actually mentioned, and I'm not sure what people, I really want to know what my UK constituents think of this one. Bavvo. Yeah, Kristie Bavington. Now, some people are going to say, but wait a minute. Sandy's a former world champion. Bavvo is ranked, I believe she's ranked number 4 in the WBC. And she's, of course, the European champ. She's got a solid record, 9-5 and 2 with 2 KOs. Tough fighter. Um, it's a good rebuild fight. Or I like Ivana Habazin. She's ranked number 2 in the WBC and number 4 in the WBO. I believe Habazin is probably the better long run opponent for Ryan. Solid opponent. She can definitely get the win. Bavvo is a dangerous fight because Bavvo would be essentially playing with house money, trying to, I guess, ascend from the domestic stage and get onto the world stage where Sandy is. So kind of a trap fight, but interesting nonetheless. But let's see if Sandy goes after Ivana Habazin. That should be a great way to rebuild back towards title contention. Or Sandy could always move to 154 and fool us all. Who knows? But certainly I think she'll take some time off, been a world champion and competing at the world level for so long. We could always use a rest and recharge. It did wonders for one Scooter Fulton. So we'll see. Also on the weekend, we had Yokasta Valle with a split decision win over Marlena Esparza. And the only thing split about it, it was just that Esparza was trying to bully Valle, and Valle was landing cleanly on most other fighters, certainly in the divisions below. Valle might would have stopped her opponent, but Esparza blew the scale. It was also some Orlando Salida shit, and it's very, disgusting. And I don't know if that's such a strong word. It's silly, to try to do this, for Valle's been fighting at 105 pounds. She ain't, you know what I mean? Like, come on. So anyway, I don't give a shit what Esparza does next, but I got some options for Valle. You can always go into a unification bout with Yuko Kuroki. She's the WBA champ. Last fought in January of this year. All right. Could always go into a unification versus Sarah Bormann out of Germany. She's the WBO champ. Um, she's got a fight scheduled on April 26th. And Valle could also go for the interim WBC champ, which seems to be the likely. I wonder if they discussed this at the WBC Women's Convention, but with the interim champ, Umi Ishikawa. I have to get these Japanese fighters' names right out of respect. But yeah, 12-3 fighter with 10 KOs, last fought in May of last year. She is the interim WBC champ. So that could be Valle's next bout, or she could fight the winner of the fight for the vacant IBF title, which is happening this weekend. I'll get into that with the fight week breakdown. So lots of options for Valle, but since she's the WBC champ, maybe we should expect her to go the WBC route by I guess solidifying her position by facing the interim champion in Ishikawa. Now let's talk about some other fights that have been announced, and I'm going to get to one that I'm totally but let's get to Gabriela Fundora. I believe this fight was actually announced last week. Hell of a fight. The opponent, very easy on the eyes, and I want to get a good look at her. All right. The undisputed champ at flyweight. She'll be facing Madeline Badillo, La Mexicana. Kind of looks like a Blanquita, but you know, she rolled like a Mexican. So let's see what she's all about. 19-0-1 with 3 stoppages. Hasn't fought anybody that you and I could recognize, but sometimes the grittiness from, you know, and I know there's a lot of disparaging sometimes about Mexican opponents, but with the female fighters, pretty tough. You see Nancy Franco is still around. What's my girl name? Cruz. You know, the amount Erica Cruz is still around. So some of these women are extremely tough, and many more that I could mention, including Valle. So suffice to say, that is going to be Fundora's opponent. I can't wait for that one. I think that's like April 19th. All right. Good to see Fundora back in action, defending those undisputed titles, not stalling the division like Alicia Baumgardner. I'm gonna get to that. I'm not really sure how I feel about the opponent, not because the opponent isn't a worthy opponent. Jessica Miranda, the interim WBA featherweight champion, is a great opponent for Skye Nicholson on the rebuild or in the unification against Tiara Brown, who is also looking, hats off, champ, at the WBC convention. Beautiful dress. Yes. But Baumgardner is going to stall the division and fight. This reeks of Jennifer Miranda's getting the Lamont Roach treatment, except none of the dog. Couldn't punch her way out of a wet paper bag. She's undefeated. 12 fights, 13, 14, 15 fights, 1 KO. She's a boxer against an athlete, puncher, the likes of Baumgardner, and you're bringing her up. It's not even worthy. So I'm going to just put it out there and say, why don't you fight Peggy Whitmore? Peggy Whitmore, and I mentioned Tiara Brown. Peggy Whitmore, to me, seems to be the Tiara Brown of her division. I think if you guys dug deep enough, and I get it, this is on brand with what Most Valuable Promotions is doing. Jennifer Miranda, easy on the eyes, no doubt about it. Netflix star, things of that nature. So trying to get Baumgardner to kind of get in that, I get it. But for the love of God, you're the undisputed champ at 130 and you're stalling the division. So do like the gracious Amanda Serrano did, vacate some of those belts. Let the other girls get a crack at what come on, man. No. I don't like this at all. I don't like this for 130 and I don't like this for Baumgardner, but it is business. I can't be mad. Okay, but I'm just being fair. I have to be unilateral in all my decisions and choices about what type of fights I think push women's boxing especially forward. And while I'm on that, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, because there's some that seem to think, and I could see the rationale behind the argument, that the fact that Serrano Taylor 3, again, an unnecessary fight, which I've been calling a necessary evil, it may actually marginalize women's boxing a bit. And hear me out. If the goal is to show that women's boxing is on par with the men, I think Mayer and Ryan just last week did that. It was the main event, and he even had a male title bout, welterweight division, and it just did what it did. Even when Serrano and Taylor stole the show, obviously it wasn't much of a show, but so I think there's a need for a more organic um gathering, and so it would be. You already have the necessary evil of Serrano Taylor 3, and then you bring us this Baumgardner Miranda fight when you could have brought us something that has a little bit more integrity to women's boxing, something that really speaks more to what Baumgardner needs to be doing to continue to establish her legacy as a super featherweight champion. Again, unless she plans on doing other things. But that's just me and the thoughts of some. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. All right. Now, um, super flyweight champion, woman that I've become attracted to. Her style, pink hair, and she's a puncher boxer for sure. And I think she's evolved some of what we've come to know about Japanese fighters and what some may consider a zombie-like style, just coming forward, punches and bunches. She does that, but she's a bit sharper and fights on a bit more angles. I'm talking about Mizuki Hiruta from Japan. She's 7-0 with 2 KOs, a WBO super flyweight division champion who made her stateside debut in January of this year. She's making another appearance stateside, I believe, as well, May 17th versus Carla Moreno, 16-2 out of Argentina. Argentina makes them very tough. So this is going to be a good bout just to see Hiruta in action, to see the 115-pound division super flyweight getting some traction, getting some movement. Gotta love that as well. So be sure to tune in to that title defense in May. I want to talk about some recent signings for some fighters that are either turning pro or pro prospects. So let's talk with South Central Los Angeles's own Perla Bazaladua. She's 1-0, 1 KO. Just signed to Top Rank. Top Rank, maybe looking to capitalize on Mayer's success. She's pretty much been the stable fighter over there, so maybe looking to add to that. And against Estrada too. But yeah, so that's cool. Shanika Johnson resigns to what's been reported as a multi-year deal with DeBella Entertainment. Lou DeBella thought he said something about not being a promoter, just an advisor. Who the hell knows? But I know he ain't doing shit for my girl Chicken Metcalf. I know that much. Also talk about some signings. It's been made official after much speculation. Elif Nur Turan out of Turkey, devastating puncher, and I'm sure she's much more of a skilled boxer. Will now get the opportunity to see her since she has inked a promotional deal with Top Rank. Excuse me, Top Rank. What am I talking about? Matchroom. Got Top Rank on the brain. All right. Something must be cooking with Top Rank, all right? But yes, Elif Nur Turan, she's a 135-pound contender at this point, looking to make some waves in Matchroom, especially in light of Matchroom's, I guess, trimming of the fat. They a lot of fighters have been, the contracts have been expired or released, so they're looking to rebuild. So this should be a good addition. Now, moving on to fight week, Emma Dolan and Lauren Parker. This is for Dolan's European and Commonwealth super flyweight division titles. Dolan is undefeated, 7-0, 1 KO. Lauren Parker, the once defeated contender, looking to get those belts from Dolan. The Dolanator looking to retain her titles, and then after this, maybe ascending to that world title stage. 115, yes, looking to see some movement in that division. So who's to say a showdown with Jenny Fuchs or Jasmine Artiga could be in the works for Emma Dolan if she's successful, or vice versa. It could be for Lauren Parker if she usurps the favored champion Dolan. So be tuned into that one on the undercard. of some what is it? Maybe Queensberry. Yeah, it's a Queensberry promotion card. So tune into that one right now. I mentioned before, vacant IBF strawweight 105-pound division title. The contenders, both from Argentina. The bout will be in Argentina Saturday evening. Sol Quadros versus Maria Baumstark. Yeah, Quadros is 9-0-2 with 3 KOs, coming in off of 2 stoppages. And Baumstark, she's coming in off of I think her last 6 bouts, 5 of them were via stoppage, although the last one went to decision. So vacant IBF title on the line. I'm expecting these ladies to fight their heart out. This is on Argentinian broadcast, but trust me, I got a way to watch it. All right. Also, be sure to watch Tiny Tina Rupert. She is the unified WBC and WBO minimum weight 102-pound champion. She's facing the undefeated and IBF fighter out of Japan, Sumire Yamanaka. She's 8-0 with 3 KOs. This one's going to be good. Rupert has a loss to Estrada, but a win over Valle. That tells you what her pedigree is. That she popped up to become unified champion. She's not going to let that go that easy. But Yamanaka, hey, she is the champ. So you're expecting the champ to come to defend their title. Should be exciting bout. That was on a German broadcast, but I'm sure those of you hungry enough will be able to find it. Also on the undercard of a top rank card from Kazakhstan with the fake boogeyman. I forgot dude's name, Janibek Alakameli. You have another Uzbekistan national, Balusa Muzdamin, right? 6-0 with 5 KOs. I don't know who she's been punching out, but she's in there against a Philippine fighter, Maria Pinelli, 7-0, 2 KOs. This is a flyweight division bout. Maybe a potential opponent for Fundora if whichever of these opponents make it out on the other end. So, tune in just to see it. And it's on the undercard of a top rank event. So be sure to check it out. Last but not least, this one is on DAZN, presented by, I believe, Red Owl Boxing in Houston, Texas. 4-0, super featherweight, 130 pounds, and maybe a potential opponent for Alicia Baumgardner if she's actually taking opponents on from her division. All right. 4-0 Gabriela Tellez will be facing 2-2 Lindsay Ellis. And again, and this one's in Houston on, I believe, Friday night. So be sure to check that out. Tellez is a developing prospect, and this will be her 5th fight. All right. So that's it this week, ladies and gentlemen. Great amount of information. So be sure to you might have to watch this one once or twice. It'll be just that nice once you do. Thank you. I want you to like, comment, share, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys soon. All right.